So this is a newer one. See the blue? See the black? They're very different, okay? Black is for your diesel fuel, blue is for your DEF, diesel emission fluid, or urea. So this one is a Tier 4 final genset. So it needs to spray urea in the output to meet EPA requirements. So when you're checking fuel levels, check your DEF as well. Now fuel levels, you're very pigeonholed, right? Because he just rolled up with how much runtime you have, right? You don't have a choice. He just rolled up with that. So I found the right size generator, and this is the size tank, this is your runtime. If you are in it, and it's gonna be a while, you can get fuel pods delivered. So same company will probably have access to fuel pods that you can drop fuel pods at your facility, and you can then pull from them as well when this tank is done. Your back end is always where your controls are. So generally you've got a main breaker to protect the lines going out. So that's what this breaker does, right? This breaker's only job is to protect lines that are going out. So if your building is an overload or the lines have got a problem, then this breaker will trip. This breaker does nothing to do to protect the alternator inside. It's only for the lines going out. So this is your main output, right? Then you'll have smaller single phase loads that you can plug into, little plug-ins or whatever that they've configured for you with their own little circuit breakers on them to protect those circuits as well. So if you got some auxiliary stuff that you want to plug in, maybe some lighting near the gen or something like that, you've got that capability right here as well. You got your drawing here. We'll show you your connections, your neutrals, your hot lines. Every genset's going to have this on the inside of the door. So some basic operating procedures are here. So your oil fill up is right here. Your engine control module is on this side. So if this stuff is over here, then all your service points are going to be on the other side. Your fuel filter and your oil filters. Most of these doors for these kinds of generators, and this one has it as well, they're pin hinge. So what that means is I can lift it up and get it out of my way. Because generally when you're out here, the wind's blowing, the rain's coming, and this thing's beating you on the back of the head, you know, you've got a way to, excuse me, to secure that. Of course, here's our friend the battery, right? That's a notorious guy. Generally, the rental guys will have all these changed out before they deploy. This one, the voltage selector switch is right here. So here's your 277, your 480, your 120 right here. This is your battery disconnect. Generally, this is like a way to stop all control voltage from feeding the generator when it's not being used. Like your boat, right? If you leave it connected, it's going to drain the battery. So there's always some kind of draw coming from that battery. So nothing will work until you find your control switch to turn this on. Filters are here. Happens to be a John Deere. You got isolation valves here to be able to change your filters out. You try not to run this thing dry because you might have to reprime it to get it going again because it's a closed loop system. So that could be a challenge as well. All these mobile guys, all these stuff are readily available in the market. Filters, you can go to Napa. All these places will carry these kinds of parts and pieces. Air filters, fuel filters, they're easily obtainable. When you start getting into the bigger stuff, the big roll-ups, that may not be the case, but that's not the market. The market tends to be for these. There is also a market today growing for natural gas mobile. So there's natural gas mobile generators out in the market today as well. A little bit trickier in your everyday application, right? Because now you have to have a gas connection, you have to have enough pounds, and you have to have enough flow. So unless you really have thought it through, that's not really a viable solution. We see it a lot in the oil and gas business, in the fracking fields. They'll grab that gas out there. All this foam is for your insulation. If you'll notice, anywhere the air is coming directly in, they move it so you're not putting weather up against the unit during the event. Questions? Check those. especially when you own it. Everyone forgets to check the tires. I've got many a call. I'm on the highway and things aren't good. Okay, not easy to jack up, not easy to mess with. Personally, my opinion, it is a lot harder owning and operating a mobile generator on your own. I think there's enough challenges come with a permanent gen set, but to have something that is tucked away that no one remembers is a problem. We do a lot for the cell site community. So we have a lot of the major cell carriers will store their mobiles at our facilities and we maintain them. So we'll keep a trickle charge on them, right? You got to have house power to this thing so the batteries stay charged. You want to have a block heater on here. Generally you'll have a strip heater in your alternator to keep moisture off your windings too. So these do require power when they're not operating. So they'll pay us to do that so that they're dispatchable when they call us. So if you own one, all that comes to you. And that maintenance and that requirement falls right on you guys. And it's a lot worse when you're rolling up your own and it's not working, right? But I'd say, did I mention tires? I'm going to mention tires one more time. Tires are a big problem because it's hot out here. They don't move around, they get dry rotted. And generally they do not come with a spare. They won't come with the spare tire. And that's because people steal them. Same with cable. Watch your cable. All cable boxes have got locks on them for a reason. We had a rash there where people were going to standby generators just trying to steal the cable from the breaker to the conduit, which is crazy. It's an automatic start generator and they're out there messing around with the output cables, but desperate times, right? So visual inspections, make sure it all looks good, check all your fluids, get your control switch, make sure you have the right voltage set up, make sure, what's the other really important connection you need to have? Ground. Make sure, walk that ground, man. Walk it. That ground's a big problem. Because let me tell you what the problem is, right? So look at this setup right now. Look at the setup. Basically, you are sitting an electrical device on an insulator, because those are tires. So electricity is not getting through. That's when they tell you if you're ever in a car and a wire falls on your car, that you stay in your car. You're going to be safe in your car. So this is the same thing. You got an issue here, you're not going to know because your tires aren't going to reveal it. You will, the minute you touch it. The minute you touch it, okay? And some of these systems get pretty weird that you hooked into, especially your older municipality buildings. You don't know how your grounds are connected in there. You know, you could have ground loops. You're only supposed to have one bond from the service entrance coming into the building. That's where it's supposed to be bonded, one time. We see a lot of times that they'll bond it different places throughout the building. And what you get then is you get circulating currents because they're not going back down to ground to get rid of. So they're just running around in your system. So I had a job site, I went up, I pulled the ground off of the gen set that was a permanent gen set. It drew an arc off the ground. And I clamped it, it had 120 amps on the ground because it had all these different bonds in the system. So you don't know what's going on in that building unless it's your building and you've been through that building. And also, this guy's not your friend until you've checked everything out. And once you've checked everything out, you guys can be buddies. But not until then. Good?